Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
A young woman is dead. 3 others are seriously injured after a wrong-way hit-and-run crash. What we're learning about the people involved.
And jurors are getting a look at new surveillance video from inside a Raleigh store where the owner stabbed a customer. Why the owner's attorney says this supports his claim of self-defense.
And I'm tracking up front. Out ahead of it, we're going to see temperatures likely near records over the next couple of days. I'll show you how warm it will be.
A 24-year-old woman is dead. 3 others have serious injuries after a wrong-way crash in Johnston County. And now the search is on for the hit-and-run driver who took off. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Nate Chu. Thanks for joining us. One of the injured is a 5-year-old child. WRAL's Eric Miller talked to a person who knew the victims and joins us live with what he's learned about their relationship. Eric.
Michelle, Courtney Atkins was the woman killed in this crash. She was just 24 years old, a wife, a mother, a life cut far too short. Now, this morning, I spoke with Atkins' sister-in-law. She tells me that Atkins and her husband were high school sweethearts. They met in school in Powell, Tennessee, and then had moved to Goldsboro when her husband joined the Air Force. You take a look at this video here. This is that crash scene itself. You can see just the damage to all of these vehicles left behind. State Highway Patrol says it happened on US 70 eastbound near the Cornwallis Road underpass early Sunday morning, right around 3 a.m. A white BMW was going the wrong way and hit a white Jeep Cherokee head on. Courtney Atkins was in that Jeep along with her husband Michael and their 5-year-old son and another woman, Sydney Skelding. Now, SHP says the driver of that BMW jumped out and is still on the run this afternoon. So far, they have not released a name or any description of that driver, but we know the search is still on. We'll keep pressing for more details in this case. In Johnston County, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Right now, the Raleigh store owner on trial for murder is taking the stand in his own defense. Tasir Zarka is charged with stabbing Mark Garrity to death. Garrity was trying to steal a Gatorade. WRAL's Noah Klein joins us now in studio. And Noah, we are getting a look at some new video as part of Zarka's testimony.
Michelle, I want to bring our viewers right into the courtroom right now. This is a live look inside. You can see Mr. Zarka here on the stand. This is cross-examination just getting going here within about the last 10 minutes or so. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan is in the courtroom. She just texted me saying this exchange is actually getting pretty heated. Now, it's been a busy morning. Before this, Zarka's attorney asked him how many shoplifters he's had in his store in downtown Raleigh. He said he estimates close to 1,000 a year, though none of them have been confrontational. In the last 60 minutes, Zarka's attorney showed some of that new video to the jury going frame by frame. This portion here, it shows Garrity coming into that store on Wilmington Street. You can see him holding a Gatorade and that duffel bag. Zarka confronts Garrity. This is when things start to get physical. Zarka pulls out a pocket knife. He says he keeps on him daily. He told the jury that he pulled out his knife in self-defense as Garrity wouldn't let go of the bag. He says Garrity also told him he had a pistol, something the state is already denying in this cross-examination. We're going to play part of this testimony from court. This is Zarka's attorney questioning him about what went down.
Why did you hold the knife in a way that Mr. Garrity did?
I held it in the air to show him that, just don't try anything bad. I'm protected too.
What are you asking him to do?
I said, why are you getting so aggressive? Just open your bag.
In terms of what comes next here in this trial after cross-examination, both attorneys will present their closing arguments before this case goes to the jury. We're live streaming this trial on WRAL.com, and WRAL's Chelsea Donovan has been in the courtroom for each day of the trial. Look for her new reporting on this case today, starting on WRAL News at 4.
All right, Noah, thank you. And WRAL is also working to learn if anyone is in custody after a shooting in Johnston County. It happened around 4 o'clock this morning at a home on Santa Gertrudis Drive. A person in the home called 911 saying someone fired a shot through their door. One person was taken to the hospital. When our crews arrived, we saw crime scene tape around 2 homes.
I'm Brad Neese here in the WRAL Live Center following some breaking news out of Durham, where Jordan High School is under a secure status lockdown. We have some video of the scene right there around the school. This is from a trailhead on Hope Valley Road. School officials tell us that the lockdown is all due to police investigating the potential of somebody with a weapon in the park that is near Jordan High School. It did not happen on campus, but because of all of this, they have placed the school under that secure lockdown. That means no entry or exit right now. While they investigate this, we're working to learn some more information, and we'll keep you updated here in the WRAL Live Center.
All right, Brett, thanks for that. We could have a few peaks of sun break out this afternoon. Highs will be above normal. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at when we could see near record highs.
Looking at a big warm up for tomorrow and Wednesday. We take a live look outside here down Fayetteville Street. And of course, this is from our Jimmy V camera. Plenty of people out and about, but definitely with jackets on. It's still pretty chilly. We had a chilly start this morning with temperatures in the 40s. And because the clouds are still hanging around, our temperatures have been very slow to warm up. We are seeing a flow out ahead of this big front that's coming out of the south, but we do also need to see a little bit of that sunshine if we're going to warm up to around 60. Back to the west, we have a cold front, and it will turn much colder behind this front. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But first, let's take a look at our temperature change. Of course, the dark red shaded areas are where temperatures are well above normal. As a matter of fact, for tomorrow and for Wednesday, we're going to be close to record highs. Probably not going to break any records, but we'll be close to it. And then notice how the colors turn to blue as we get toward the end of the week. We'll see temperatures dropping pretty dramatically behind that front. 55 is our normal high, looking at around 60 today, 69 Tuesday, 71 on Wednesday. And then we're back to normal on Thursday and Friday. So we'll be watching that big temperature swing. Of course, in terms of how close we are to records, not too far. Our forecast high for tomorrow is 69 and the record 73. And Fayetteville looking at a high of 73, but the record is 80. So a little farther from that record there in Fayetteville, but certainly temperatures in the 70s are much, much warmer than normal and close to records. We're going to talk about a big drop in our temperature for this coming weekend as we see our next Arctic blast coming up.
I'm Brett Neese here in the WRAL Live Center again with an update from Western North Carolina. Emergency management officials telling us about the debris removal that is happening out there. And we have video of some of that debris from that initial response there in Western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene moved through there a couple of months ago. But as of today, emergency management says that they have removed 2 million cubic yards of debris. 2 million. That's enough debris to fill over 600 Olympic-sized swimming pools and over 133,000 dump trucks. A lot of work still needs to be done, though, in Western North Carolina, and that work continues. We'll keep you updated.
All right, thank you, Brett. A Parkland school shooting survivor is setting his eyes on a role in the Democratic National Committee. David Hogg rose to prominence in the wake of the 2018 shooting. In a statement, Hogg said the Democratic Party has to have a renewed focus on youth outreach. He is running for vice chair of the DNC. Members will vote on a new party chair and several other executive positions on February 1st. And President-elect Donald Trump is reportedly considering turning the United States Postal Service over to private enterprise. Trump has discussed the change with Commerce Secretary nominee Howard Lutnick, as well as Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. The U.S. Postal Service has lost more than $100 billion since 2007. The agency has cut transportation spending by $2 billion over the last 3 years.
It's been 1 week since Luigi Mangione was charged in connection with the deadly shooting of insurance executive Brian Thompson. This week, he could be indicted in New York on first-degree murder charges. But right now, he remains behind bars in Pennsylvania, where he was arrested. We also have learned that he has a new high-profile lawyer, which will certainly come with a big tab. Right now, there are at least 2 crowdfunding efforts to raise money for his defense. The popular crowdfunding site GoFundMe has taken down fundraisers for Mangione because of its terms of service. They prohibit fundraisers for the legal defense of violent crimes. We want to know what you think. Do you support using crowdfunding for people charged with a crime? Share your voice right now by scanning that QR code on your screen, or you can head to WRAL.com/yourvoice, and we'll share the results in our next half hour.
WRAL has learned the name of the man accused of assaulting 2 people, stealing a tow truck, and crashing it into a business in Apex. An arrest warrant identifies the suspect as 49-year-old Raquab Overton. It says that he punched at least 2 people before stealing a tow truck. The warrant then accuses Overton of assaulting someone with that tow truck. Police say he crashed the truck into a gun and coin business on William Street. The building has been condemned because of the damage. Overton is facing numerous charges, including assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. Fire investigators in Goldsboro say an electronic device may have started a large fire at an apartment complex. Crews responded to a fire on Peachtree Street yesterday around 6:15 p.m. The fire spread to multiple units in that building. Nobody was hurt. The fire caused about $100,000 in damages.
Happening today, Durham City Council is expected to pass a contract to begin repairs on the Fayetteville Street corridor. It's part of a $10 million investment from the American Rescue Plan Act to improve the area and the Hayti community. Council members will vote to allocate $1.75 million for repairs and services at certain properties. It is the first step to stabilize and revitalize structures in the Hayti community that have seen historic disinvestment after construction of the Durham Freeway. Tonight's meeting starts at 7 o'clock.
Next at noon, a Texas trooper struck by a vehicle. The highway shut down with one wreck. How the second crash seriously injured that trooper.
Also, no deposit, no withdrawal. How an attempted ATM heist in Washington state failed miserably.
Plus, giving the gift of time. How to give caregivers a helpful break around the holidays.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Police in Washington state are searching for two men who tried to steal an ATM but failed miserably. You are looking at security camera video from a Walgreens. Watch as the driver backs a truck through the storefront, causing significant damage. Two men then jump out and attach a cable to the machine, but it snapped as they began driving. The portion of the machine that holds the cash remained bolted to the floor. Instead of giving it another go, the suspects gave up and just fled the scene. Well, two men caught flying a drone near Boston's Logan Airport Saturday night are due in court today. Both were taken into custody after trying to flee the area. They are both facing trespassing charges, and more charges and fines are possible. Police are searching for a third person who got away on a boat.
A Texas trooper is in critical condition after being struck by a vehicle on a highway in Dallas while responding to another crash scene. At the time, two lanes on the highway were shut down by fire crews who were also responding to that initial crash. The driver of the car that struck the trooper stayed on the scene and is cooperating. Alcohol is not believed to be a factor. Today, we expect to hear from the lawyer representing an Alabama woman who accuses Jay-Z and Diddy of raping her 24 years ago. Attorney Alex Spiro is expected to hold a news conference at 2 o'clock this afternoon to address inconsistencies in her original story. The woman, identified as Jane Doe, stands by her claims. However, Jay-Z says her inconsistencies prove her attorney filed a complaint in the pursuit of money and fame.
We're hearing from people who are nearly caught up in a tornado this weekend in California. Take a look at this startling video. Watch how close the tornado comes to drivers on the road. Some questions a decision by the National Weather Service to issue a severe thunderstorm warning given the severity of this situation.
The car in front of me spun around completely, and the car in front of that flipped over onto its roof, and another one flipped on its side. And I realized we were in the middle of something that never happens here.
5 people were hurt. Fortunately, no one was killed, despite how close some vehicles were to that twister.
A lot of people saw a ring around the moon this past weekend, but it doesn't mean rain or snow is coming. WRAL meteorologist Chris Michaels explains what causes that halo and what it means for snow chances down the road.
So it may not always mean rain or snow, but it's really something that's cool to look at. And a lot of you got those pictures like Adam in Johnston County, Sandy and Cary. At Saturday night, you just had that full halo around the moon. So let's talk about what causes that. You've got ice crystals suspended in these high-level clouds. And when the full moonlight comes through those ice crystals, they act like a prism. They bend or refract the moonlight at a 22-degree angle. That's very specific, but that's how we get to see the full circle here at ground level. And this oftentimes means that there's a storm system somewhere within the eastern U.S. In the case of this past Saturday, that system was all the way in Missouri, but at the top of storms, you get the air that diverges and then is blown by the strong upper level winds. That's why we were able to see those high level clouds and then eventually that moon halo. So again, it's an indication that there's at least a storm system nearby, and it could precede storms any time of year, not just during the winter, but it doesn't always guarantee rain or snow. And hey, speaking of that, we're going beyond the 7-day forecast right now on WRAL.com to see if there's either one of those in the Christmas Day forecast.
That makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Our chances?
Big zero.
This is Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. Chance to see the sun maybe today?
Yeah, I don't know. I just may be too sad to even talk about it. Goodness gracious. But here's my philosophy around here. If it's not going to snow, it might as well be sunny and 70. And that's where we're headed. So, hey, there is that. This is a live look at Durham right now. Lots of cloud cover here. Let's go out. First of all, let's talk about the temperature. It's on the cool side. We started this morning with our temperatures in the low to mid 40s. We've only been able to creep up to around 50 degrees because we have light winds. We don't really have a big push of warm air coming in. So we really need these clouds to clear out if we're going to see the temperature climbing much. But I do hold out some hope for that. Take a look here at what's happening down to the south. This is a look at our high resolution or visible satellite here. And you can see sunshine breaking out in our southern counties. And if you watch the bottom edge of that, it is gradually lifting. So we'll give it another couple of hours. And I feel like at least around the triangle area, we should see enough sunshine that the temperatures will bump up. Here's what it looks like in Fayetteville. Lots of sunshine. As a matter of fact, you can see that sun glinting on the cars there, and a lot of blue sky there. There's a little bit of cloud cover, but it's pretty bright there in Fayetteville right now. This is a look at our cloud cover forecast. It does look like as we get into the afternoon, we're going to get down to maybe a 70% chance or 70% of the sky covered with clouds. That should give us enough sunshine to see those temperatures bumping up, but then we're going to cloud back up again overnight tonight. Temperatures right now pretty chilly. 43 in Roxborough, 46 South Hill, in Fayetteville and Clinton, where that sun's trying to break out. We're climbing into the upper 50s right now. And we're looking at a forecast this afternoon of 61. So that is an indication of what will happen here once we see those clouds clearing. Temperatures are approaching 60 to the south. So we should get there as long as the sun breaks out. If the clouds just decide to be too stubborn, we're probably going to keep it in the upper 50s this afternoon. 57 for Durham, 68 in Fayetteville. Again, we're going to see more sunshine there than really anywhere else. Here's a look at our front that's going to be our main focus for the next couple of days. Ahead of the front, temperatures are warm, especially tomorrow and Wednesday. We get into a stronger flow coming out of the south. On the backside of this front, it is going to turn much colder, and there will be some rain with this. Now, lots and lots of lightning along this front right now, the chance of some severe storms. We're not likely to see that, but we'll see our band of rain that comes through on Wednesday evening. 55 is our normal high. Looking at, around 64 today, 69 Tuesday, 71 Wednesday, and then temperatures drop behind the front. You can see that warm air with us to start the week and cold air coming in, especially over the weekend and early next week. We really get an Arctic blast, and our temperatures remain below normal from the 21st to the 25th. So the weekend before Christmas all the way up to Christmas Day, definitely looking at below average temperatures. But it won't be Arctic air the whole time. Look at this. For Saturday, which is the first day of winter, 45 degrees and then 39 on Sunday. But as we get closer to Christmas, we should see things moderating just a little bit. We're going to take a closer look, a little sneak peek at what we could see for Christmas coming up. On Friday, we'll see temperatures close to normal. It is our Coats for the Children telethon day. And of course, we hope you'll join us to help keep kids warm. Boy, we'll definitely need it this coming weekend.
Yes, we will. All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Well, Christmas, it's coming up fast. The Salvation Army is working to make sure all children will be able to wake up to gifts on Christmas morning. But in Fayetteville, they still need volunteers to buy gifts for more than half of their Angel Tree recipients. How you can help coming up at 4.
Then at 5, North Carolina ranks as one of the lowest effort states for public school funding. The work advocates are doing to make the grade. And still ahead this noon, there's no limit to the ways artificial intelligence can be used in our daily lives. Now one company wants to help take the sticker shock out of buying a home, and we'll explain how that works.
And we have an important warning about a product meant to make your days merry and bright, the item that could pose a fire risk for you and your family. Listen up. Several types of Christmas tree light controllers are being recalled because the units can overheat, creating fire risks. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling several types of controllers made by Mr. Christmas. The items were sold at Walmart, Target, and Cracker Barrel stores nationwide. So far, there have been 10 reports of overheating and 1 fire with no injuries. If you have the product, stop using it immediately and return it for a full refund. Nearly 70% of Americans say they need a vacation so badly that they'd be willing to buy more PTO from their job. On average, workers say they would pay as much as $180 just for an extra day off. According to a recent survey, Americans say they need a vacation every 4 months, but only 18% of those with access to PTO actually use their full allotment. Nearly 80% of those surveyed say they felt particularly burned out this year.
Housing costs are spiraling, some would say out of control, but there could be a new high-tech solution helping you find a home you can afford, even after all the hidden fees. Evan Brown explains how artificial intelligence is simplifying the home buying process.
It's still really hard to buy a home. Prices are soaring, putting the American dream of home ownership out of reach for most. Experts say a big part of the problem is a lack of transparency about how much buying a house will actually cost. But now there could be an AI-powered solution. Built Rewards is debuting their Buy a Home tool, getting buyers access to listings tailored to their finances, calculating their all-inclusive monthly payments.
We will actually find you homes that you can buy today, factoring in interest rates, taxes in the local cities, insurance costs, HOA fees, everything.
That's a big change from the traditional model that only provides the monthly mortgage, not the specific associated fees. That changed from state to state. The new calculator is powered by artificial intelligence, but it took a new human perspective to approach the problem from the point of view of the consumer.
Everything these days is a little bit AI, but the hard part, honestly, here is just getting all the data together in a simple way.
And the company is hoping it will give a new generation of buyers access to affordable homes, bringing clarity to what is often a complicated process.
We look at this as how do we bring transparency and simplicity to the home buying process and rewards for customers when they're ready to buy a home. To solve the broader housing crisis, you need that, plus we have to figure out affordability in general.
That was Evan Brown reporting. The typical household needs $100,000 of income to afford a home. That has doubled in the last 5 years.
1 week since his arrest for the murder of the United Healthcare CEO, Luigi Mangione continues to fight extradition. Next at noon, what we're learning about his new high-profile attorney and the next steps in this investigation.
Also coming up, what a Durham County Commissioner is doing to help solve the school bus driver shortage and how he thinks it could inspire others to be part of the solution. And here are your NC Education winning lottery numbers. We'll be right back.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
It's been exactly 1 week since Luigi Mangione was arrested in connection with the assassination of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Today, we've learned he has a new high-profile defense lawyer, Karen Friedman Agnifilo. If that last name sounds familiar, it's because her husband, Mark Agnifilo, is currently representing Sean Diddy Combs in separate legal matters.
This is one of the updates we have in this case. NBC's Stephanie Gosch reports Mangione remains in jail in Pennsylvania on charges related to the 3D printed firearm and fake ID.
Accused killer Luigi Mangione remains in a Pennsylvania prison cell, but New York officials say they are eager to extradite him. A source tells NBC News as soon as this week, a grand jury in New York could indict the man suspected of murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. A potential indictment could bolster the Manhattan DA's extradition case. The 26-year-old just hired a new legal team led by high-profile New York attorney Karen Friedman Agnifilo. She spoke about the case and Mangione's possible defense on CNN last week before being hired as his lawyer.
There might be a not guilty by reason of insanity defense that they're going to be thinking about because the evidence is going to be so overwhelming that he did what he did.
While authorities are revealing more about what led up to his arrest. After the suspect was first reported missing by his mother last month, law enforcement officials say a San Francisco police officer recognized similarities in the images of Mangione in New York and the individual in the missing persons report and contacted the FBI. Two law enforcement sources familiar with the matter telling NBC News that authorities reached out to Mangione's mother 2 days later, who told them the man in the images could be her son. Just 1 day later, Mangione was taken into custody at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. According to the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections, Mangione, who is not being held in solitary confinement, has eaten every meal in his 15 by 6 foot concrete cell. He does not have a TV and is not yet interacting with other inmates.
He may only be there for a matter of weeks. For his short stay there, he's going to be treated like any other inmate.
With Stephanie Gosk reporting, the maker of the backpack worn by the person who shot the CEO of United Healthcare says the company and its staff have been receiving threats. This comes after rumors that investigators used the bag to track down and arrest the suspect. In a statement, the CEO of Peak Design, the backpack company, said they do not provide customer information to the police and would only do so under the order of a subpoena. He also said the backpack the shooter wore did not have any type of uniquely identifying serial number on it. And this brings us to the results of today's megaphone question. Earlier, we asked, do you support using crowdfunding for people charged with committing a crime? And we're going to look at this. It was 70% just a couple minutes ago. This started out pretty even, so now the no's are racking up here. We will continue to collect your answers all throughout the day, so share this with your friends and scan the QR code on your screen there, or you can head to WRAL.com/yourvoice to be part of the conversation.
I'm Brett Neese here in the WRAL Live Center with an update to that breaking news out of Durham, where Jordan High School was placed under lockdown. That lockdown has now been lifted. I want to show you some video again from the scene here. This is at a trailhead near the school. Here's what school officials say happened today. They say one student saw two other students handling what they thought was some sort of gun. After making that report, that's when the school went under lockdown. And officials found those two students. They admitted they had a BB gun. They turned it over to sheriff's deputies, who now say that a 16 and 17-year-old will be charged. Those are the two that were involved with that BB gun. School operations have returned to normal, and that lockdown has been lifted.
All right, thanks for that update, Brett. Zebulon Police Chief Jackie Boykin is stepping down at the end of the month. After 4 years of dedicated service, she is leaving to become Chief of Police for Woodfin, that's located in Buncombe County. Deputy Chief Bob Grossman will assume the role of interim police chief January 1st as the town searches for a permanent police chief. Grossman has spent 25 years with the Zebulon Police Department. And Durham Public School leaders are trying to put an end to a years-long problem. We talk about this all the time, the shortage of bus drivers. Parents are being asked to drive their students to school at least once a week until mid-January. One county commissioner is taking matters into his own hands. Vice Chair Mike Lee has served on the Durham Public Schools Board of Education for 8 years. He's a parent of two, and he decided to get his commercial driver's license. He's been picking up shifts to help take students to schools when needed. And he began by driving activity buses for extracurricular school events, including this past Friday.
I have a doctorate. I'm a customer success executive. Now I'm a county commissioner. But one of the highlights of my days is driving the bus. It is so wonderful. So the kids say thank you all the time. It is just, it is so wonderful to sit behind the bus. It's so exciting. My wife teases me all the time how excited I get when I get an assignment to drive the bus.
And Lee hopes to inspire others to get their commercial driver's license and ship in. He said the district is looking at all options to solve the driver shortage, including possibly partnering with city bus lines to reduce ridership on school buses with older students.
Carolina Hurricanes head coach Rod Brindamore received a big honor after last night's game. The Canes beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-1. Everybody's in a pretty good mood. And then Governor Roy Cooper joined them in the locker room and presented Brindamore with membership to the Longleaf Pine Society.
As a coach, as a parent, involvement in youth hockey, and when you think about all of the jobs that the Carolina Hurricanes have brought to North Carolina and their success and the interest in seeing all of these families coming out here, this guy's created a culture of winning and working hard and getting rewarded for your hard work.
Cooper has previously presented membership to former Duke head basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski, and he says he will be there presenting that membership to former UNC head basketball coach Roy Williams this week.
Week 15 of the NFL season wraps up tonight with 2 games. The Chicago Bears will be in Minnesota taking on the Vikings. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock on ESPN+. And the Atlanta Falcons, they will take on the Las Vegas Raiders. That game gets started at 8:30 on ESPN. We'll celebrate the holiday season country style. We'll tell you how you can watch Christmas at the Opry featuring Little Big Town.
And another concert, another singer hit by a flying object. How pop sensation Billie Eilish handled this. We'd love to connect with you online. Follow WRAL on Facebook to join the conversation. Welcome back this noon. Christmas is just over a week away. If you're not totally in the spirit, we might have just what you need. Last week we gave you a little bit of soul. This week we're treating you to a little bit of country.
It's pretty good. Little Big Town asked a few friends to celebrate its Christmas at the Opry, and you are invited to join them. Mark Barger has a preview of tonight's special.
My soul, one thing I know. Little Big Town's been so busy over the years, one major box managed to go unchecked.
I can't believe it took us 25 years to do a Christmas record.
This fall, the group finally released what is simply titled The Christmas Record.
It still went down to the wire on getting every little detail that we wanted buttoned up.
If we make it through December. Music from their album, as well as holiday classics from other stars, are part of Little Big Town's Christmas at the Opry.
There's no better place to celebrate a holiday and season that we love so much than to be here at the Opry with friends and family.
Yes, this is Christmas, my dear. Sheryl Crow is also among the large roster of guests, as well as Josh Groban.
This is a win-win-win to be here at this historic theater.
It was a first-time honor for Kate Hudson.
I'm so excited. I mean, it's the Grand Ole Opry. This is like a dream, you know?
Happy golden days.
To be at this venue is really special, and to be celebrating Christmas with all these amazing artists is so fun.
Little Big Town hopes that fun includes fans at home.
Bring your families all around the TV and have hot chocolate and make some memories.
Mark Barger, NBC News.
There's a lot of talent there. Little Big Town's Christmas at the Opry airs tonight at 8 o'clock on WRAL, followed by Michael Bublé's Christmas in the City. That's at 10.
Sometimes the best gifts are not wrapped. How you can brighten the holidays for a caregiver without breaking the bank.
And multi-platinum artist Billie Eilish falls victim to a disturbing trend. How the What Was I Made For songstress reacted when a fan threw an item during her performance.
Oftentimes we hear from police and community members about the number of guns on the streets in Durham, and now we have new insight into one factor that may be behind that. WRAL Investigates learned that there's a policy in the district attorney's office not to prosecute certain gun charges, but instead to dismiss them. Sarah Kruger is here now with what she uncovered out of all this. Sarah.
Jeff, this is something that we found out through a public records request, and emails we got show a police officer wrote to the assistant DA asking why a charge he filed for possession of a firearm by a felon was dropped. And she wrote back saying the DA, Satana DeBerry, has a policy when it comes to that charge specifically when not accompanied by violence or threats of violence, and that is why she dismissed it. Now, Satana DeBerry, she declined my request for an interview for this story, so I asked a UNC law professor about this instead.
Many prosecutors' offices have policies that tell the assistant prosecutors, the line prosecutors, when they should file charges and when they should not. But it's rare for the public to find out about those policies. We call it discretion, right? The discretion whether to bring charges or not is probably the most important power that prosecutors have, but it's also the power about which voters know very little.
And a spokesperson for the district attorney's office sent me a statement saying there is not a written or blanket policy on possession of a firearm by a felon. She said, we have limited resources, and as in all types of cases, we prioritize those matters that pose a risk to public safety. So tonight at 6, I'm going to tell you about how another DA's office in our area handles this very same charge. Plus, we'll have some more reaction from someone who studied this phenomenon extensively, and we'll hear from a longtime Durham resident.
Eye-opening stuff there. No question about it. Well, Sarah, thank you for that. We'll look forward to it at 6 tonight. Michelle?
All right, thanks, guys. Well, if you have a family member or friend who takes care of a loved one, consider giving them the gift of time this holiday season. This includes looking after the individual so the caregiver can take a couple of hours or even the whole day off. Consider household chores like doing their laundry or going to the grocery store for them. You could also order food so they don't have to cook dinner. Often, caregivers say they feel guilty about taking time for themselves, which shouldn't be the case.
It's critical for caregivers to attend to their own physical, emotional, and social needs, for example, to ensure their own emotional well-being. Self-care shouldn't be thought of as something that's indulgent, but rather an essential part of their practice and delivery of caregiving.
And remember, the gift of time is not just the perfect present for the holiday season, but really any day of the year. They all deserve the much needed break. All right, let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner here talking about the weather. A little bit of sunshine in Fayetteville.
Yeah, they've really broken out nicely. Lots of sunshine. And that is most likely going to happen for the rest of the viewing area as well. So we're going to be watching for that, especially down to the south. We're expecting to see more of that sunshine breaking out. But right now it is cloudy in Apex and Raleigh, as well as Chapel Hill. We'll see that erosion of the cloud cover starting south and moving northward. So the farther north you are, the less chance that you may see some sunshine for it today. Nice and warm ahead of the front. We're looking at temperatures tomorrow in the upper 60s and then Wednesday in the low 70s, because ahead of the cold front, we'll continue to see a strong flow of moisture and warmth coming out of the south. Along this front, we've seen some severe storms. In the last hour, we've seen severe thunderstorms and even some tornado warnings there as it's crossing the upper Mississippi Valley. But we're not expecting any of that around here when the front comes through our area. It'll be much weaker. This is a look at Futurecast for tomorrow. We're going to start off again with some cloud cover. Notice that Futurecast tries to show a few thin spots there around lunchtime, but we may also see a few isolated showers. There's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a little sprinkle or two. At 5 o'clock, also an isolated shower. Not going to see a whole lot of rain tomorrow, but couldn't rule out a sprinkle here or there. We'll move it up to Wednesday at 9 a.m., which is going to be fairly dry. Now, Wednesday, we may see a few more breaks in the clouds as well. Notice at 5 o'clock, we're seeing some blue sky that's trying to break up. 5 o'clock, we're also starting to see the sun setting. But here comes the best chance of rain that we'll see, and that's going to be right along the front. At 6 o'clock, we're seeing rain from Durham northward. By 7 o'clock, from Raleigh up to South Hill down towards Southern Pines. And then as we move forward, we'll see the rest of that band sliding across the area. So most of this is going to happen after sunset up until around midnight, but we will give it about a 40% chance as that band moves through. Right now, I wouldn't expect to see thunderstorms with that or anything severe, but keep checking back just in case. Once that front moves through, we're going to see a blast of colder air moving in. We'll get a second front that comes through late on Friday that'll be dry, but it is going to deliver some really chilly air for us. So we're going to go from 69 on Tuesday to Sunday morning, 25 degrees. So really, really chilly. We take a look at our chance for any snow as we get closer to Christmas. And you know, it's never looking good around here. It's about a 4% chance that we would have a white Christmas around here or anytime between now and Christmas, but about a 30% chance in Boone. So if you really want to see some snow, you can head to our northern mountains, and there may be some there. Our Christmas forecast, even though it's 9 days away, this is a sneak peek. We'll likely adjust this in some way, but potentially 50s with a chance of some isolated showers on Christmas Day. The first day of winter is Saturday. Boy, it looks chilly. 45 Saturday, 39 for the high on Sunday. Sunday night around 22 degrees. So we'll get that really cold blast over the weekend. On Friday, it's our Coats for the Children Day. We'll be talking about ways that you can help keep children warm in our area all day Friday. So we hope that you will join us for that.
I'm Brett Neese here in the WRAL Live Center following some breaking news out of Madison, Wisconsin, where police say they are investigating a shooting at a Christian school. This is the Facebook post that they just posted about 10 minutes or so ago, saying that there are multiple injuries at that school that is happening there in Madison, Wisconsin. We do have a live picture there from the scene, near the scene. Police saying that there are multiple injuries involved in this shooting, so we're working to learn more information about what exactly that means as they continue to investigate this, and as this unfolds, we'll keep you updated here in the WRAL Live Center. Your top stories are coming up after the break.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. A 24-year-old woman is dead. 3 others have serious injuries after a wrong-way crash in Johnston County. Now authorities are searching for the driver. State Highway Patrol says it happened on US 70 eastbound near the Cornwallis Road underpass early Sunday morning. A white BMW was driving the wrong way and hit a white Jeep Cherokee head-on. Courtney Atkins was in that Jeep along with her husband, Michael, and their 5-year-old son with another woman, Sydney Skelding.
In the last 30 minutes, a Raleigh store owner on trial for murder finished testifying in his own defense. Tazir Zarka is charged with killing Mark Garrity in his store. This morning, the state finished cross-examining Zarka, asking if he intended to kill Garrity. Both sides are set to present closing arguments next in this case. We are live streaming this trial on WRAL.com.
And WRAL is working to learn if anyone is in custody after a shooting in Johnston County. It happened around 4 o'clock this morning at a home on Santa Gertrudis Drive. A person in the home called 911 saying someone fired a shot through their door. One person was taken to the hospital. When our crews arrived, we saw crime scene tape around 2 homes.
No word yet about why someone threw a glass at comedian Jamie Foxx at his birthday party. Foxx was celebrating at a Beverly Hills restaurant Friday night when someone from another table threw a glass at his face. The entertainer had to get stitches, but is recovering. He thanked his supporters for their prayers in the social media post, writing, "The devil is busy, but I'm too blessed to be stressed."
Billie Eilish fans are praising the singer for how she handled a troubling trend. The singer was hit by a necklace this weekend at a concert in Arizona. A fan threw it on the stage during her performance, striking the 22-year-old performer. Fans gasped as Eilish paused, grabbed the jewelry and tossed it off the stage, and she continued singing. One fan tweeted, "That is so scary. I hope Billie's okay." Another wrote, "I miss concert etiquette. Why is this allowed?"
All our pets of the day want for Christmas is a home to call their own. And those dogs here have been around for quite some time. They never got a home last Christmas and would really love someone who likes to play. They would do best with someone who works from home or is retired military. Each one has a story that would captivate your hearts. You can call ARF Rehab to give them a Merry Christmas.
Very sweet.
Pretty cute in their garb there.
Yes. Well, unusual sights in the North Carolina sky today on WRAL News at 4. Sean Gallagher talks with 2 local people who say they've seen drones similar to what are being seen in the Northeast. Hear why they say they're concerned about this. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great Monday.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.